Well, it is finally here. Season 2 of Star Wars Squadrons has just begun. Now, for some of you who are not really sure what that means, let me explain. For every 2 months, there is a new ranked season that starts in Star Wars Squadrons. This means you can claim the rewards based on the rank that you were set in the previous season. And then you do it all over again in Season 2 while still carrying your previous season's MMR. And for those who don't know what MMR stands for, it's pretty much matchmaking ranking. That determines how good of a player you are in the game. So in today's video, we're going to be covering what we can expect in the new season for Star Wars Squadrons, what rewards you can claim for Season 1, and the mine update coming from EA Motive developers. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the video. So Season 1 of Star Wars Squadrons started on launch day, that day being the 2nd of October 2020. Now, before the game was released, we knew ranked seasons were going to only last up to 2 months. For anybody who has played other competitive games, you're probably already familiar with this. Overwatch has a new season every 3 months, and League of Legends has a new rank every 12 months. Now, as you all know, Season 1 was a little bit of a shambles. Lots of people having the rank 0 bug, myself, Eckhartsladder, and Corey Losers also having the problem themselves, which then prompted the EA Motive developers to give us the opportunity to reset our rank midway through Season 1. So in a previous video, I talked a lot about the matchmaking issues that we've seen in Season 1. My biggest gripe being that people who have just started to play the game being matched into games where people have played the game for well over 100 hours. That is a very large skill gap that definitely needs to be whittled down. And for anybody trying to play the game in Australia or maybe New Zealand, they have definitely been suffering with latency issues. So hit detection, netcode is just not working as well for them as it would be for American players or UK players. So in a very minor update on the Star Wars Squadrons subreddit, we got an update from Jay, the social media manager for the game, giving us an update on 2 relatively minor things that will probably have a huge impact for people playing the game. The first is that they're making a couple of tweaks to reduce latency for people playing in Australia or people that just don't have a very strong internet connection. And the other one, which is probably the most interesting for me, is that they'll tweak the skill requirements for each tier in Operation 2. Operation 2 being the new season, if you don't know that. As mentioned, this is quite interesting to me actually. I've definitely had a tough time, especially when playing solo when it came to matchmaking. The general idea I pushed is that the top player needs to outperform their worst 2 performing players on their team. And in no way am I saying that people need to play better or just don't play if you're not good. Not trying to get that point across at all. My point being is that when people start playing the game, after single player, it's either dogfighting or going straight into ranked. And for some, the single player isn't enough for them to get a really good idea of how it is playing against other players. Meaning that when you're in Hotshot 2 or you're trying to push the hero, you're getting people who have just picked up the game, starting their placement matches and don't know how to play the game properly. And that variable situation determines a victory or a loss just like that. So it's definitely been quite reassuring to hear news that developers are working to hopefully rectify that issue. In the video, Star Wars Squadrons has a problem, here's a fix. I did offer a solution. If you want to hear that solution, I'll link the video in the top right corner right now or in the pinned comment down below. But for some of you who are really struggling to try and climb the ranks because of people that have just started playing the game, this could be the solution for you. And if not, we still have the version 4.0 in mid-December. As of today, the latter update, the matchmaking system, that should be live now. And we can kind of guarantee that because the servers did go down momentarily for Star Wars Squadrons yesterday. Looks like a lot of people coming in to try and do their placement matches. So I'm definitely not doing my placement matches just yet, but I'm keeping a close eye on people's initial reactions to the changes. If all you care about is having a very high rank and nothing else, I highly recommend waiting it out before you do your placement matches, because doing your placement matches today compared to a week later will be the difference between you being placed in Hotshot or Hero. You have to let all the players get designated into their correct ranks before you do yours. So for some of you, I understand that that's very easy to do. You can just go straight into dogfighting, enjoy playing the game in that mode before jumping back into ranked mode. But for those of you who just want to get stuck in, there is no issue with doing your placement matches now. Besides, it is the bread and butter of the game after all. Not to mention, Star Wars Squadrons has been on a big sale on Black Friday all the way to Cyber Monday, which, in case you don't know, has led the active player base to be 4 times the size it was the prior week. So on estimation, the peak active players last week was probably like 3,000 players. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's nearing more towards the 10,000 active player base. And with Season 2 of Star Wars Squadrons, Christmas, and the 10-hour trial you can get on the Xbox Game Pass is definitely going to push a lot more players into Ranked. This is actually a really good thing for people who want to take Ranked seriously. The more players there are, the more accurately matchmaking can be. The less players there are, the more the matchmaking has to be lenient on the catchment area of active players playing the game. Meaning the game will reduce matchmaking time by putting you against players that are probably either much better at the game than you or much worse at the game than you. And not only that, in Season 2, we won't have that ranked reset right at the beginning. That really didn't help a better matchmaking experience in the long run. But now everyone is doing their placement matches again, whether you had the rank 0 bug or not. The more that this season goes on, the more accurate the matchmaking will be. As for what we can see in Season 2, I don't think you're going to see any initial changes right at the beginning. We did have quite a big update like less than a week ago, and we can't expect version 4.0 until mid-December. And in my estimations, that's probably going to be about 2 weeks away. That update is going to be huge after all. But what question I am really interested in asking you guys is my question of the day, which is, for those of you who have already started their placement matches in Season 2, has it been a better experience for you compared to Season 1, or has it been a worse experience for you? Let me know why with your reasonings in the comments down below. I'm definitely going to be reading all of these. And I'll get back to you on how the matchmaking is doing probably a week down the line. Also, let me know what wins and losses you had in your placement matches and where you ended up being placed. I remember winning 8 of my placement matches and I got put into Hotshot 2, and I actually found winning games becoming more and more progressively difficult. So the games actually got harder and harder to win as the season went on. But I will pass that question over to you. Also, for those of you who are looking for more Star Wars Squadrons content, if you haven't already, why not check out our video on the head tracking application for Star Wars Squadrons. For those of you who don't have VR, this is a really nice in-between that doesn't cost you any money because it uses the camera on your phone. So if you haven't watched it already, totally recommend that one. But with that all said and done, I have been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.